In the Hollywood entertainment industry, where beauty is often considered one of the most valuable assets, there is a little-known truth. Behind the spotlight, stars sometimes pay a heavy price in the relentless pursuit of the perfect image. In this video, we will see 19 Black actresses, once symbols of beauty, who have faced tragedy and regret after their decisions to undergo cosmetic surgery. They embarked on a quest for perfection, but the result was transformations that made them strangers in their own bodies. From subtle facial tweaks to major surgeries like Brazilian butt lifts and tummy tucks, their journey went far beyond appearance. It cost them their natural identity and self-confidence. If you decide to keep watching this video, be prepared you might not even recognize the stars you once admired. Have you ever felt pressured to change your appearance in order to reach society's idea of perfection? If yes, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, comment 0. Enjoy the video. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to support the channel, and share it if you believe this message deserves to be heard. Once a symbol of beauty and the first Black Miss America in 1984, Vanessa Williams broke down barriers in the beauty industry. However, her crown was short-lived. A nude photo scandal stripped everything away. Her career seemed over, but she persevered and made a comeback, shining on screen in iconic films like Soul Food, Ugly Betty, and many other memorable roles. Yet behind that charm was an obsession that couldn't be easily erased. Fear of aging, fear of being forgotten, and fear of beauty fading. It was these fears that led her down the path of cosmetic surgery, a road with no turning back. Starting in the late 1990s, Vanessa took her first steps into the world of plastic surgery. At first, it was just a minor nose job, subtly reshaping her nose to be slimmer and a bit higher, with delicate curves. Everything seemed fine. But as she hit her 50s, the fear of aging began to erode her mind. Hollywood has little room for faces that have grown older. Younger, fresher actresses started to take her place, and Vanessa couldn't accept that. She decided to turn to surgery to turn back time. Botox became a regular part of her life. The needles pierced her skin, erasing every trace of age. No wrinkles, no signs of time. However, her face lost its natural expression. Her cheeks became unnaturally full, the thick filler causing them to puff up like a wax figure. But that wasn't all. Her lips also became plump, thick, and rigid in an unsettling way. Vanessa was no longer herself. Now at 62, she still walks confidently on the red carpet, carrying the same aura as she did in her younger days. However, the public now sees her differently. No longer the beauty icon she once was, Vanessa is now a polished, lifeless stranger. Photos of her youth flood the internet, accompanied by comments lamenting, "She used to be so beautiful." The frightening truth is that Vanessa knows this too. But it's too late. There's no way out, no turning back. She still steps into the spotlight, but the public no longer sees her as the beauty icon she once was. Instead, they view her as a victim of her own obsession with staying young forever. Wendy is one of the most famous TV hosts in America. From being a radio DJ, she made a name for herself with sharp, bold, and dramatic commentary. Wendy also appeared in the film Think Like a Man, proving that her fame wasn't limited to television. However, off the stage, Wendy became obsessed with her appearance. She always longed for change, and cosmetic surgery became the only path she pursued. A path that ultimately destroyed everything. Wendy's transformation began in the 1990s. As a tall radio DJ, not slender or soft, she felt out of place among the TV stars. To improve her figure, Wendy decided to undergo breast augmentation. It was a bold decision, and indeed, confidence radiated from her face. But that wasn't all. By the 2000s, Wendy continued her battle with her body. She underwent liposuction to achieve a smaller waist and more seductive curves. However, the results were not as expected. The upper part of her body remained full, while the lower part became emaciated, creating an imbalance in her body proportions. But Wendy didn't stop there. She continued with Botox injections, fillers, and even rhinoplasty. However, instead of improving, her nose became crooked, her cheeks unnaturally puffed up, and her lips grew thicker but misshapen. Wendy's face lost its harmony and became like a doll with imperfections. Despite this, Wendy did not stop. As time passed, she continued to make adjustments. A troubled marriage with Kevin Hunter, cheating scandals, and the pain of betrayal fueled her obsession with surgery. She longed for a rebirth, to erase all the stains from her past. However, each surgery only caused her to lose more. By 2020, Wendy Williams was no longer the Wendy of the past. Her body had become unnaturally puffed up, yet lacked any natural grace. Her face was bright, but devoid of any expression. On television, the audience saw a stiff, unfamiliar woman. Wendy had achieved what she wanted, to stand out on screen. But the price she paid was that no one could recognize her anymore. Lisa Ray McCoy once epitomized the sultry allure of Hollywood after her breakout success in Players Club in 1998. With her balanced features, sharp eyes, and commanding presence, she captivated everyone's attention. However, glory doesn't last forever. After a bitter divorce from former Prime Minister Michael in 2008, accusations of abuse, infidelity, and betrayal sent Lisa Ray into despair. Not wanting to become a victim of time, she decided to change herself. Lisa Ray entered the world of cosmetic surgery. It all began with a nose job. Lisa Ray wanted a smaller, more defined nose, but the results didn't meet her expectations. What stared back at her in the mirror was a sharper, more angular nose, lacking the softness she had envisioned. But Lisa didn't stop there. She went on to undergo more procedures in pursuit of the perfect face. Her chin was reshaped into a pointed triangle. Fillers were injected into her cheeks, but the more she added, the stiffer and less expressive her face became. Lisa Ray continued her quest to perfect her appearance, but in doing so, she seemed to be slowly losing her natural identity. Lisa Ray's skin had become unnaturally glossy and expressionless. Her jawline elongated, lips overcurved, and her tiny, reshaped nose created a strange and almost unrecognizable profile, one that stripped away her once effortless allure. By 2010, she reemerged with a completely new appearance. Fans were stunned. Gone was the sultry Lisa Ray McCoy of the Players Club era. In her place stood a stiff, distorted version of the woman they once adored. Hollywood, which had once worshipped her natural beauty, now looked on in confusion. Lisa clung desperately to her looks, but the cost was losing the very essence of who she was. Nicki Minaj, the queen of rap, stood out not only because of her talent, but also her unique appearance. In 2009, Pink Friday solidified her unshakable position. However, to maintain her top spot in this cutthroat industry, sacrifice was necessary. Facing fierce competition and driven by the need to shine, Nikki chose a dramatic transformation. A BBL procedure doubled the size of her buttocks, marking a turning point. Her butt became massive, perfect according to the new standards. But she didn't stop there. Her nose was shrunk, her cheeks were plumped, and her lips thickened into a rigid, doll-like shape. In the mirror, she saw a stranger. A stiff, unnatural sensation overtook her. With every step, her body felt foreign. Her massive buttocks swayed like weights on her petite frame. Praised on stage but off stage, her natural beauty had faded. She had become an artificial doll, almost unrecognizable to herself. She won the trend race of surgery, but at a steep price. K. Michelle, an R&B star and reality TV personality, was once a symbol of allure with a sizzling figure and captivating curves. In the early 2000s, she stood out as a confident woman with natural beauty, boasting prominent curves and a full-bodied physique. However, in an industry that constantly demands perfection and change, K. Michelle turned to cosmetic surgery in an effort to maintain that perfection. In 2014, K. Michelle underwent a Brazilian butt lift, BBL, hoping to achieve a larger, more attention-grabbing backside to maintain her prominent position in the spotlight. The surgery initially gave her a sizzling hot figure with a fuller backside, but quickly she realized the unwanted consequences. Her buttocks became misshapen and uneven, no longer in proportion to her body, causing constant, lingering pain and discomfort. The situation worsened as she faced excruciating physical pain, particularly when sitting for extended periods. The tingling and numbness became more frequent. However, the real nightmare came in 2018 when K. Michelle woke up to find herself paralyzed in her legs, with her backside swollen and in unbearable pain. These changes forced K. Michelle to face a constant battle with her own body. She lost her self-confidence and endured severe pain, the result of cosmetic surgery. Despite her physical transformation, the freedom and joy she had hoped for from the surgery never materialized. The surgeries weren't just about changing her appearance, but became a bloody journey in pursuit of an unattainable ideal of beauty. K. Michelle paid a heavy price in her attempt to achieve the vision she had in her mind, only to lose her confidence and face a body filled with pain, no longer recognizing herself. K. Michelle serves as a cautionary tale for those pursuing the ideal of beauty without realizing that sometimes the pursuit of perfection can cause us to lose ourselves, not just in terms of appearance, but also in physical and mental health. The stories you shared are truly heartbreaking and serve as a warning about the consequences of chasing perfect beauty through cosmetic surgery. Everyone has their own reasons and motivations for changing their appearance, but cases like K. Michelle's and Amara La Negra's show the transformation and serious consequences of excessive surgery. They are all individuals who sacrificed their natural identity only to end up with devastation and irreversible pain. Among all these stories, K. Michelle's may be one of the most tragic cases. The fact that she has to face a body destroyed by surgery and the life-threatening danger as silicone began to corrode her body is a tragedy not only in terms of appearance, but also health. The price to pay for these wrong decisions is too high. Not being able to recognize oneself in the mirror, along with the irreversible consequences, truly is a nightmare. A bloody exchange for attention. Tichina Arnold was a comedy star in her own right. On Martin, she was the sharp, tough Pam. In Everybody Hates Chris, she portrayed Rel, a funny, no-nonsense mom. She didn't need dazzling beauty. Her natural charisma was enough. However, Hollywood isn't just concerned with talent, it's about appearance too. After turning 40, Tichina faced a harsh truth. Leading roles were drying up. Younger, more beautiful actresses had taken over the stage, but now they had started to forget her. She had to change. In 2015, it all started small, a nose job to balance out her face. But when the bandages were removed, she froze. Her old nose was gone. Now it was smaller, sharper, and didn't suit her round face. Every time she looked in the mirror, it felt like staring at a stranger. But it didn't stop there. In 2016, Tichina fell into despair when she discovered her husband, Rico Hines, had broken their vows. Worse yet, his sex tape had leaked online. She wasn't just betrayed, she was humiliated for the world to see. The pain pushed her toward a dreadful choice. She was going to reinvent herself. In 2017, Tichina dove into Botox and fillers. She wanted to erase the scars, to prove that she was still sexy, still youthful, still lovable. But no one told her, a little tweak is art. Too much is a disaster. The fillers hardened her cheeks, killing their softness. Both Kim Fields and Tichina Arnold went through painful transformations, not just in their appearance, but in their sense of self. They tried to hold on to those perfect images in the public eye, but in doing so, those changes stripped away their natural beauty and dulled the unique charm they once had. As part of the legendary Jackson family, she never quite shined as brightly as Michael or Janet. Though she sang and appeared on television, the name LaToya always remained dim in comparison to the megastars in her family. The constant comparisons to her siblings became a psychological burden that weighed heavily on her. Feeling overshadowed by her more famous relatives fueled her obsession with appearance. She wanted to stand out, to escape that shadow, and plastic surgery became the path she chose. Have you ever felt like you were living in someone else's shadow or faced pressure to change yourself in order to stand out? If you've experienced this, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, comment 0. In the 1980s, as Michael Jackson began his own journey through plastic surgery, the world watched his transformation unfold dramatically. LaToya, looking in the mirror and no longer loving the face staring back at her, chose to follow suit. She turned to surgery in hopes that a new look might finally help her step out from under the towering shadows of her siblings. But the changes didn't bring the outcome she had hoped for. The procedures left scars not just on her body, but on her soul. She began to lose recognition of herself in the mirror. Over time, her face gradually lost its natural essence. Her nose had been altered too many times, her eyes had lost their once bright spark, and her skin had grown tight, stripped of its natural softness. LaToya was no longer the girl people once knew. Her beauty had been undone by the very surgeries meant to preserve it. Instead of reclaiming the spotlight, each procedure pulled her further from the original image she once held. She became a version of herself, but no longer truly herself. Once a promising star within the Jackson dynasty, LaToya became a stark example of how the obsession with beauty and appearance can quietly dismantle a life. In a world where image is valued more than ever, she lost not just her looks, but her identity. Tiny, famous for her role as a member of the R&B group Xscape, was a musical icon of the 90s. She had a sweet voice and a cute appearance, with healthy brown skin and a round, full face. Tiny was once one of the brightest stars in the music industry, loved not only for her talent, but also for her natural beauty. However, as life changed, especially after marrying rapper T.I., she felt herself slowly fading from the spotlight. The pressure to always be perfect and satisfy her husband's ideal image pushed Tiny to turn to cosmetic surgery. In 2010, she decided to undergo a major makeover, hoping to reclaim the flawless beauty she believed she had lost. She started with a nose job, wanting a more refined and narrower nose. However, the result was not as expected. Her nose became too sharp and slightly uneven, disrupting the balance of her face. But Tiny didn't stop there. Fillers and Botox were continued to plump her cheeks and erase wrinkles, but these changes did not give her the natural look she had hoped for. Her cheeks swelled unnaturally, making her face seem unbalanced, and Botox made her face stiff, losing the lively, natural expression she once had. She also underwent a skin-lightening treatment, hoping to restore her bright and even complexion. However, the result was that her skin became pale, lifeless, and lacked vitality. Instead of enhancing her beauty, cosmetic surgery transformed Tiny into a pale image, resembling a wax figure. When she appeared in public, fans and the media were both shocked and disappointed. Her stiff face and lifeless skin made it hard for people to recognize who she was. Tiny, with all she once had a beautiful voice and natural beauty, was now just a shadow of her former self, no longer the person she used to be. Cosmetic surgery had stripped Tiny Harris of the natural allure she once possessed. She had sought perfection and youthfulness, but in reality she lost herself in the process. Foxy Brown dominated hip-hop in the 90s. With her deep, powerful rap voice, she brought a unique beauty to the genre. She was the rap queen, competing with Lil' Kim at the top of the charts. But violence, prison, hearing loss, and a storm of crises hit her. Her career collapsed. Desperate to regain her former glory, Foxy chose the most dangerous path: surgery. It all started in 2005. Her bold, strong nose was shrunk and made sharper, losing its sharpness. Fillers puffed up her cheeks, erasing her natural wrinkles. Botox erased the wrinkles, but killed the expression. Her lips became fuller and more curved, making her smile stiff and unnatural. In public, no one recognized Foxy Brown. There were no compliments for her comeback, only shock. What had she done to her face? Once the queen, surgery didn't restore her crown. It turned her into a laughingstock. Vivica A. Fox once dazzled audiences in Independence Day, captivating viewers with her sharp and stunning beauty. She continued to solidify her name with Kill Bill, becoming a familiar face on the big screen. However, Hollywood is incredibly unforgiving to women as they age. When she entered her 40s, Vivica felt overlooked and decided to fight against time. She threw herself into the world of cosmetic surgery, relentlessly seeking ways to preserve her youth. But what she received in return was a cosmetic disaster. In the early 2000s, Vivica began receiving Botox injections. At first, it was just small injections to tighten the skin and smooth out wrinkles, helping her maintain a youthful appearance. However, Hollywood never stops. Younger, more beautiful actresses who didn't need surgery began replacing her. In 2003, after her highly publicized breakup with rapper 50 Cent, things took a turn for the worse. She not only lost love, but also her reputation. From 2015 to 2020, Vivica completely lost herself in her obsession with cosmetic surgery, continuous Botox injections, and thicker fillers. Each injection took her further away from her true self. Her skin became taut and smooth, with no wrinkles left, but it lost its natural look. Her eyes narrowed from being pulled too tightly. Her cheeks puffed up unnaturally, and her lips became fuller, but stiff. Vivica's face now resembled a wax figure more than a living person. Even though she still attracted camera flashes when stepping onto the red carpet, the compliments were no longer there. She used to be so beautiful. That was the haunting refrain Vivica had to hear about herself. Tian T-Boss. Watkins is the heart of TLC, the best-selling female group of all time. With her raspy, emotive voice, iconic blonde hair, and a sharp yet gentle face, she was not just a singer, but also a beauty icon. However, behind that allure, T-Boss had to face the pains of illness and loss. In 2002, the death of Lisa Left Eye Lopes left her devastated. TLC began to fade, and she lost an important part of her life. Time gradually wore down her appearance, making her feel the inevitable changes brought on by aging and illness. Panic set in. She turned to surgery, hoping to regain the confidence and youthful appearance she had lost. However, things did not go as she had hoped. In 2005, T-Boss underwent nose surgery, but the procedure was a failure. Her nose shrank too much, causing her face to lose balance. Despite the disappointment, T-Boss didn't give up. She continued with Botox injections and fillers, hoping to preserve her youthful beauty. Botox and fillers in hopes of preserving her youthful beauty. However, these measures only made her face stiff. Her cheeks swelled strangely, her lips thickened and became rigid, no longer harmonizing with the rest of her face. The graceful face of TLC was now just a memory. On stage, T-Boss no longer recognized herself. Her face was no longer her own. The world no longer recognized who she was. The surgeries, despite aiming to maintain her youthful appearance, stripped away the naturalness of her face and in some ways caused her to lose a part of her identity. A bloody reinvention for a television icon. Nene Leakes is more than just a reality TV star, she's a phenomenon. The Real Housewives of Atlanta made her the center of every showdown, a sharp-tongued woman who feared no one. But in Hollywood, status isn't just about personality, it's about appearance, too. She began scrutinizing her reflection, wondering if this face was still worthy of attention. Then she decided to change. In 2010, the first transformations began. Her old nose was slimmed and lifted, but it looked too sharp, too unfamiliar. Her once round face changed after a series of procedures. Liposuction slimmed her jawline and cheeks, but it made her look older instead. Fillers were used to compensate, stretching her skin in an unnatural way. Her once expressive eyes were pulled tight, losing their softness. She looked more refined, but no longer natural. Her career soared, but her personal life crumbled. Her 2011 divorce from Greg Leakes brought legal battles and emotional scars. She refused to break, and the only control she had left was reshaping herself. Multiple nose revisions, repeated filler injections in her cheeks and lips, but the public noticed. They stopped marveling at her beauty and instead gawked at how unrecognizable she had become. When Nene remarried Greg, things seemed to brighten until his death from cancer in 2021. She turned to surgery again, this time to heal the pain. Another transformation. More fillers, more Botox. Her face no longer belonged to the beloved star, it became a distorted echo of the past. The buzz faded, the chatter died down. People just stared in silence because Nene Leakes, the woman who once ruled reality television, had become a stranger to herself. The nightmare behind the teen star's smile. Kim Fields was once a phenomenon, best known for her role as Tootie Ramsey on The Facts of Life. She was America's beloved child star, radiant smile, sparkling eyes, a natural charm. A teenage goldmine for Hollywood. But Tinseltown doesn't favor child stars once they grow up. By her 20s, Kim faced a harsh reality. The scripts stopped coming, and she had to find a way to reinvent herself to stay relevant. No one was talking about Kim Fields anymore. No one was looking for her. Her childhood fame had faded, leaving behind only a dusty name in the audience's memory. In 2010, a second chance arrived when the Real Housewives of Atlanta invited her to join, reopening the doors to the spotlight. But stepping into the brutal world of reality TV, Kim quickly came to a horrifying realization. Every woman here looked impossibly perfect. Flawless skin, no wrinkles, sculpted faces untouched by age, plump, youthful lips. Kim, bearing the marks of time, felt out of place. The cameras zoomed in, exposing every line, every contour, and each wrinkle seemed to scream, "You're not that child star anymore." She knew she had to change. In 2011, the first needles went in. Botox for the wrinkles, fillers for the cheeks, a touch of plumpness in the lips to stay on trend. But a touch was never enough. Kim kept going back, again and again. Then the worst happened. By 2015, it had gone too far. Her cheeks puffed up, losing their natural shape. Her lips were overly plump, stiff like wax. Her nose shrank down, now appearing disproportionate to the rest of her face. On TV, viewers gasped, "She looks so different!" Kim Fields, with her distinct, endearing charm, was now unrecognizable. The signature smile that had built her career had become stiff, lifeless. She tried to show emotion, but her face wouldn't move. Little Tootie was gone. Hollywood had stolen her youth. Surgery had stolen her identity. And now, looking back, all Kim Fields could do was quietly wonder, am I still me? Miami has a queen, Trina, the most seductive female rapper, a rap icon of the 2000s. She had it all, a scorching hot body, fierce flow, and a commanding presence. Her empowering anthems for women elevated her to the top. No one could match her. But times changed, and Trina had to keep up. In 2010, the Brazilian butt lift, BBL craze, exploded. Young rappers like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B flaunted their fiery curves and oversized booties. Trina realized she was falling behind, left in the dust. She jumped into surgery. Her first BBL was effective, but she couldn't resist the allure. Years later, her buttocks became inflated, uneven, one side higher than the other. Sitting revealed the imbalance. Walking made people whisper, "Bad BBL." The fillers also ruined her face. Her cheeks puffed, her lips curved, her nose shrank oddly, leaving her with a swollen, doll-like plastic face. The Queen of Miami was gone. All that remained was a mess of surgeries. A music legend, she once captivated audiences not only with her powerful voice, but also with her regal beauty and commanding presence. For decades, she stood as a symbol of allure and success. But as she passed the age of 60, time began to chip away at her once glowing image. Wrinkles crept in, and her career no longer held the same momentum it once did. After losing her beloved husband of over 30 years, Patty was left feeling alone and hollow. In that emptiness, she began to believe that if she could recapture a more youthful, beautiful appearance, maybe life would feel different. The obsession with holding on to youth slowly pulled her deeper into the world of cosmetic surgery. It began with a minor nose job in 2005, but instead of refinement, the outcome left her nose unnaturally shrunken, with the tip oddly curled upward. Still, the disappointment didn't stop her. Patty kept turning to cosmetic surgery, believing that just one more tweak might fix it all. Yet with each procedure, she drifted further from the face she once cherished. Her cheeks swelled unnaturally from fillers. Her skin was stretched so tightly that the softness and grace that once defined her began to vanish. Botox erased the wrinkles, but also froze her expressions, leaving her once vivid face stiff and emotionless. Her lips, once subtly charming, became thick and misshapen, robbing her of the elegant allure she had long been known for. Instead of feeling renewed, Patty Leal slowly lost her identity in the relentless pursuit of aesthetic perfection. The cost of clinging to youth and beauty turned her into an unrecognizable version of herself. Though she remained in the public eye, no one could truly see the talented, radiant woman they once admired. Cosmetic surgery intended to rejuvenate ultimately stripped away not only the natural features of her appearance, but also the distinct charm that had made Patty Leal a legend. Her iconic beauty faded, replaced by a face that bore no signature, no familiarity, no longer hers. An icon of hip-hop, she became an essential force in the group Salt and Peppa, carving out a bold, unapologetic style all her own. Sandra's sharp, powerful features and magnetic presence captivated audiences throughout her career. But like many stars, time proved to be no ally, and Sandra was no exception. As her career began to fade and her marriage unraveled, she no longer felt like the woman the public had once adored. She began to feel the weight of aging and the creeping fear of losing the allure that had defined her image. That fear soon grew into an obsession. She turned to plastic surgery, hoping it would restore her youth and bring back the captivating appearance she once had. But rather than helping her reconnect with herself, the procedures pulled her further from her original identity. Peppa's surgeries began with small changes but gradually spiraled out of control. Her face became tight and unnatural, her cheeks puffed up, and her lips, now overly full, clashed with the rest of her features. The series of surgeries dramatically altered Lil' Kim's image, stripping away the unique allure that had once set her apart. When she re-emerged in the public eye, fans and media alike were stunned by her dramatic transformation. Peppa's face now looked like the product of excessive surgery, no longer bearing the natural, powerful beauty that once defined her. Tabloid headlines mocked her appearance, and the public no longer saw her as the fearless hip-hop icon she once was, but rather as a stranger even to herself. Cosmetic surgery, meant to preserve youth and allure, had instead stripped Lil' Kim of both her natural appearance and a vital piece of her identity. She had once stood as a symbol of strength and originality, but now, in the eyes of many, she had become a faded shadow of the woman she used to be. Amara La Negra's story is truly a heartbreaking wake-up call about the pursuit of physical perfection without fully anticipating the serious consequences. Her decision to undergo surgery in order to achieve the perfect butt and make other enhancements led to irreversible complications that damaged not only her appearance, but also her health. The pressure in the entertainment industry is relentless, and sometimes, to keep up with ever-changing beauty standards, artists like Amara feel they must sacrifice parts of themselves just to survive and stand out. But the price she paid was far too high. Cosmetic surgery, while it can bring positive change for some, turned Amara into a stranger to herself. The physical changes she once believed would boost her confidence became a burden both physically and emotionally. Even more painful were the side effects and complications from the procedures, which forced her to confront the weight of past decisions that went terribly wrong. The most tragic case may vary from person to person, but Amara's story, with all the pain and loss she endured, might be one of the most profound tragedies. She not only lost her natural body, but became haunted by irreversible complications, all in the pursuit of modern beauty standards. Her experience is a sobering reminder that self-love and embracing natural beauty are vital. Life and health are our most precious assets, and we should never sacrifice them to chase society's unrealistic ideals. Have you ever felt pressured to change your appearance to fit beauty standards? If yes, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, comment 0. Every number tells a story, and I'd love to hear yours. Don't forget to enjoy the video, leave a like, hit that subscribe button to support the channel, and share if you think this message is worth spreading. When thinking of Hollywood stars, people often picture glamour, luxury, and timeless beauty. But no matter how powerful or wealthy they may be, time is unforgiving to anyone, especially those who have made enemies and sabotaged relationships throughout their careers. Today, we will take a look back at 15 celebrities who were once the center of the spotlight, but now surprise the public with their worn-out appearances, not only in their looks, but also in the collapse of their reputations. And trust me, position number 7 will leave you wide-eyed in amazement. This is the kind of transformation that makes you wonder, does fame truly last forever? You probably clicked on this video because, like me, you've been curious. What happens when the spotlight fades? How do once legendary figures end up falling from grace? I assure you what you're about to see goes far beyond failed plastic surgeries or the typical aging process. We're talking about a complete decline, from physical to moral, to the point where it could shock even the most dedicated Hollywood followers. Some of them were once hailed as beauty icons. Others were respected, even idolized. But all of them have become stark reminders of the fragility of fame. And as we go through each one, pay attention to how their appearance seems to increasingly reflect the true nature of who they are inside. The deeper we go, the more chilling the stories behind their transformations become. I've spent months researching, uncovering details that mainstream media has often overlooked. Have you ever felt shocked seeing how a once iconic star looks today? If yes, comment 1. If not really surprised, drop a 0 below. Every face in this video carries a story, a warning about the fleeting nature of fame. Enjoy the video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Courtney Love, the rebellious icon of 90s grunge music, has paid a steep price for her decades-long reckless lifestyle. As the lead singer of Hole and the wife of Kurt Cobain, Love was once the epitome of raw, fierce beauty that defied conventional standards. However, substance abuse and a series of erratic behaviors have devastated both her appearance and career. Now, at 60, Love's face shows clear signs of harsh aging, partly due to her tumultuous life and partly from cosmetic surgeries in an attempt to reverse time. Her fame has also dwindled, not only due to the decline of her career, but also because of fractured personal relationships. Her public feud with daughter Frances Bean Cobain only highlighted the image of a mother spiraling out of control. Although there are occasional moments of clarity and brief comebacks, the overall trajectory has been downward. What makes Courtney Love's transformation so haunting is how it starkly contrasts with the vibrant, carefree image she once embodied. Now she stands as a living testament to the destruction of youthful recklessness and the harsh reality of the spotlight. With a promising career from a young age, Lindsay Lohan stands as a prime example of the rapid decline that fame and youth can bring when left unchecked. Her struggles with drunk driving, failed drug tests, and multiple stints in jail under the unforgiving gaze of the media steadily chipped away at her public image. Her physical transformation was equally striking and visible, with a hollowed-out face and clear signs of substance abuse. By the age of 20, Lohan looked far older than her actual years. Her cosmetic efforts to try and halt the damage only added to the strangeness of her appearance, as dry skin and early signs of aging could not be concealed. Her career, once full of potential, descended into a series of failed projects and missed opportunities. Although Lohan has made efforts to recover both her image and health in recent years, the scars from years of self-destructive behavior remain evident. Now, at 38, she looks much older than her peers in their 50s. Her story serves as a cautionary tale about how quickly youth can be wasted under the pressure of early fame. The Queen of Pop's battle with time is no longer a secret, but what has unfolded in recent years makes it hard not to feel a sense of sorrow. Madonna, who once redefined the image of women in music with her rebellion and continuous reinvention, is now causing concern with her controversial choices to alter her appearance. At 65, instead of embracing the aging process naturally like many of her peers, Madonna has chosen to go against the grain, undergoing heavy cosmetic procedures that have left her nearly unrecognizable. Madonna's once sharp and distinctive face has now become stiff, emotionless, an image alien to those who admired her during her peak years. But the decline is not just about her skin or features. Her behavior in recent years has also become erratic and uncontrollable. The obsessive drive to maintain a youthful appearance has led her to try too hard to fit in with younger dancers, resulting in awkward and unnatural performances. Even her once powerful presence on social media, which she used as a tool to connect, has now turned into a series of strange, filtered videos and baffling actions that have left even her longtime fans shaking their heads. It's truly a shame. Madonna, who once had the ability to redefine the beauty of aging and create space for female artists, has now become a testament to the fear of growing old. Her defiance of time, instead of embodying strength, highlights an anxious resistance to reality. Rather than becoming an inspiration for aging with grace and style, Madonna has become a cautionary tale. When a star cannot accept the natural course of time, not only does their appearance fade, but their aura, career, and influence can also diminish. Few could have imagined the dramatic downfall of Steven Seagal. Once a symbol of action films in the late 80s and early 90s, Seagal became famous for movies like Under Siege and Hard to Kill, where he played silent, stoic warriors with superhuman martial arts skills and an invincible presence. With his neat ponytail, half-closed eyes, and lightning-fast Aikido moves, Seagal was a unique action figure, enough to make him one of the highest-paid stars of his time. But looking at him now, it's hard to believe this is the same person. His appearance and current status are so drastically different, it's almost shocking. Recent photos of him have become a topic of viral discussion on social media, where viewers can't hide their astonishment at how his once heroic image has now faded into a mere shadow. Seagal's physical decline is particularly jarring, considering his entire career was built around a strong and commanding physical image. The lean, muscular body he once had has now been replaced by a heavy, cumbersome frame, with reports estimating he has gained over 100 pounds since his peak. Worse still, he still clings to his old look with all black outfits and his glossy black ponytail, but instead of evoking memories of his former self, it now seems like a mismatched, forced disguise. At 72, Seagal not only looks older, but appears more exhausted compared to many of his peers from the same era. His puffy face, slow gait, and heavy expressions make it hard to believe his claims of still being skilled in martial arts. In recent years, video clips showing Seagal performing martial arts have become the subject of ridicule, with him mostly standing still while his opponents fall dramatically as if struck by invisible blows. Once a powerful warrior on screen, Seagal now disappoints with performances so unrealistic that they are hard to believe. His demonstrations have been openly mocked by real martial artists for their blatant fakeness. Former colleagues haven't hesitated to speak out about his arrogant behavior during his peak, calling out the inflated persona he maintained. John Leguizamo famously recalled being shoved against a wall by Seagal while filming Executive Decision, and actress Erika Eleniak from Under Siege described him as distant and intimidating. Such accounts have become more common as Seagal's once glowing star has dimmed, giving crew members more freedom to share their negative experiences. However, Seagal's troubles go beyond a decline in fame. He has also faced numerous serious allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior spanning several decades. Many actresses, including Jenny McCarthy and Portia de Rossi, who worked with him, have publicly accused him of inappropriate conduct during auditions. By 2018, 2 other women officially filed police reports accusing Seagal of sexual assault, adding to a growing list of allegations that had started in the early 1990s. His film career quickly spiraled downward, with direct-to-video movies like Contract to Kill, End of a Gun, and Against the Dark, titles that seem to echo his diminishing relevance. These films often saw him barely moving, mostly sitting and relying heavily on stunt doubles for action scenes. This was a far cry from the image of the action star who had once been known for performing his own dangerous stunts. However, what's even more surprising is Seagal's open support for authoritarian regimes. His close relationship with Vladimir Putin helped him obtain Russian citizenship in 2016, and since then, he has become a vocal advocate for Kremlin policies. He appeared on Russian state television to justify the invasion of Ukraine and was filmed attending government-backed events in Moscow. In 2018, Seagal was even appointed by Russia as a special envoy to improve relations with the United States, a role that seemed deeply ironic given his increasingly negative image back home. The former action star has now become a familiar face in direct-to-video films, living part-time in Russia, appearing on propaganda programs, and facing investigations back in the U.S. Seagal is not only aging, but he is also becoming a pale shadow of his former self. His noticeable decline in public image seems to perfectly reflect the darker aspects of his character that have slowly unraveled over time. What makes Seagal's story particularly noteworthy in this list is his current appearance, a figure now seen as a symbol of artifice, something that many in the industry had long silently criticized. Although not a true Hollywood figure, the dramatic downfall of Rudy Giuliani from being the mayor of America to a disheveled promoter of conspiracy theories certainly deserves a spot on our list. Once praised for his courageous leadership following the events of 9/11, in recent years, Giuliani has become a symbol of decay, both physically and in terms of his reputation. Time has been unkind, but it's Rudy Giuliani's own personal choices that have led him down this path of decline. Under the pressure of numerous legal troubles, failed political campaigns, and controversial public appearances, Giuliani appears to have aged decades in a short span of time. At 81, he now has a